Hey guys, it's Mariana. Duh. I don't know who else it would be. So like I said my week. So like I said in my video last week, um which by the way it did so well. I'm pretty shocked and scared that people I don't know are actually watching this video, but hi. I'm Mariana. I'm so awkward. So yeah, this is gonna be a video on how I personally take my notes, and I think that after watching a bunch of other note-taking videos on YouTube, I think I have to put it out there that I do not start my note-taking process before the lecture because it seems like all of them do, and I just personally can't do that because my professors like to add a lot of things, and it just will get really messy. So I just prefer to start taking start taking notes in the classroom when the professor is giving a lecture. I think it's important to note also that my handwriting isn't the best. Um, so like if you're looking for something that's really aesthetic, this video is just ain't it. Cause honey, I ain't aesthetic even if I try. So it's not really aesthetic. It's for me. It's more practical, but yeah, it doesn't look as neat because I personally just don't like rewriting notes because it makes me tired. Like, imagine you wrote down so many notes during the class only to come home to what, rewrite it? No, thank you. My hand gets like, no. No, thank you. Unlike other people, who like to use one to two colors, I personally like to use the whole rainbow just because I find it so much easier to read. Like, I can't just read something that's black and like a single color. I need it to be rainbow. So let's start. Okay, so obviously, if you're going to be taking down notes physically, like I am, you are gonna need a notebook and some paper. This notebook is pretty much actually just a binder, I think. And I just got it from SM. I'm not sure of the brand, and these are just the refill papers. This is, I think, the brand is Campus, and it's just the lined paper in the size B5. Next, of course, you're going to be needing pens. I'm really sorry that it's in the corner. I haven't actually done a video like this. But anyway, so those are just from Faber-Castell. And of course, like I said, I like rainbow, so I have all of these highlighters. This is the pastel pack, I think, from Stabilo, but I think I bought these all individually. Next, to add even more color to my notes, I have these colored pens from Faber-Castell. These ones, I'm pretty sure I bought these in a pack, and I'm not quite sure what type of pens they are, but I just know that they're from Faber-Castell. Now these things I don't actually use that often. I just have these two Muji pens. They're gel pens, which I actually don't prefer. Um, and I have these mechanical pencils and a ruler and an eraser. Now I do start off writing the title with what's it called, a highlighter, and I just write down it in script over it sometimes. And then, of course, I write the date, highlight that in yellow, have a header, highlight that in blue, and write some information about it under. And then for the subheader, I just highlight that in purple and write even more information about it. And for the important stuff, I just, like a subheader, I just highlight that in pink. And then for vocabulary, I highlight that in yellow. And for enumeration or enumerated words, I just highlight those in green. And for questions, in orange. And some side notes, I just add wherever they fit on the page and enclose them in a blue cloud. And for math subjects, like for formulas, I just enclose those in a box with my orange pen. Sorry, I don't know how to do voiceovers. I'm really trying, guys. But anyway, I know that seeing this just like this will be kind of hard to actually apply to your notes, so I'll be showing you guys my old notes from the first semester of last year and second semester, I think. I don't remember. So as you can see, the name of the subject is just on top. It's just the title. And then this is a good example of the, it's like an outline, I guess. So blue for the title or the header, and then purple subheader, green is enumerated stuff, and the pink is like the sub headers, and then yeah, just those things over and over again. So here, I just took note of the terms that my professor wanted to expound on. And so when I do that, I just highlight it in yellow. And if we go into the etymology, I underline it, sorry, and I use arrows to explain it. This part starts before the class because normally my professors will have graded recitation or just some recitation about the reading. So I like to be prepared. And so while I'm reading it, I might as well also start to write down notes so that, I can take note of the important things and so that during the recitation, it's very easy to find. So I don't really have any examples of my readings because I already separated all the ones that were back to back and I threw those away, and the ones that are printed on one side, those are already in the scratch paper bin, so none of them are complete anymore, so I can't really show them to you, and most of them are actually just threw away because I print back to back. But basically, what I do is that I just print it out and then I read it, and the highlighting method is pretty much the same thing. So if there's a header that's basically in blue, the subheaders in purple, any important other stuff, pink, green for enumeration, yellow for vocabulary and important people. It's pretty much the same thing, and I just add my notes on the side, like in the margins of the paper. That's where I just, I draw an arrow from the word or the phrase or whatever, and I just annotate through that. And I think that's very helpful. And I also bring out the reading during the lecture so that when my professor is saying something and that's not really in the reading, or it's between the lines, then I just take note of that so that when I study, I actually have what my professor said. Or if it's something else that's important, I'll put an asterisk and I just put a note like, this is important, so that when I study, I can focus on that as well. So the very first thing is that you should make sure that your materials are accessible, especially if you're like me who likes to use a bunch of different stationery during class, because I do all the highlighting, underlining, all of that all of that stuff. I do that in class itself. I personally just won't do it after class just because I like doing it in class. Next thing is that if you're like me and want to do all of the color coordinating during class, I would suggest that you really need to practice writing quickly. I personally think that I write fairly quickly. Okay, my handwriting's not the best, but at least I get to jot down the things that I need to write down. Aside from writing quickly physically, I also just do not write incomplete sentences, which means that I basically just write down the very important parts, or if I want to write down a whole idea, which is pretty much a sentence, is I'll just remove the articles. I don't really need those. I just write, instead of saying the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, I'll just put quick fox jumped over dog, like that. And then also use abbreviations. That's also very important, and symbols. And the very last thing, which is I think the most important thing, is that even if you take down notes beforehand, even if the professor gives you the slides, even if, the professor gives you your lecture already recorded, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you still listen to your professors. I highly suggest that you listen to your professors in class because they're always adding things that are not in the slides. They always expound on that. So I suggest that you listen to your professor so that you can write those important things down, because those are things are the why was that so long? Those are the things that they normally include in the exams. Example for essays, they normally revolve essays around the things that they say in class and not just the things that are on the slide. So yeah, basically that's it. I don't know if this note-taking thing seemed complicated. Me trying to explain it, it seems complicated for me to explain, but that was so redundant. What is wrong with me? Again, I hope this note-taking process was understandable, because the way that I take notes, me trying to explain it, it makes me feel like it's so complicated, but when I'm actually writing, it's pretty simple. So, because I just, have it in my mind and it's pretty much autopilot when I do that. And when I look for the highlighters and stuff, I just know what to get. But trying to explain it makes it sound like it's a lot of work. But it's really not if you do it often. I mean, I tried a bunch of note-taking systems in the past. I watched so many YouTube videos, tried all those systems, but they just didn't work for me. This is the one that worked for me because I really could just write down everything on my paper. I made this not so that you can follow it. I mean, you can if you want to. You can completely do that method. It's just that just to show you that there are different note-taking methods out there. Mine is different from the other ones that are on YouTube, and it's not like scientifically proven or whatever, and it's not as neat, and that's okay. Having notes that aren't neat is fine as long as your notes are organized. And by organized, what I mean is that when you look at it, you know where something is and that you understand it. What's organized for me doesn't mean that it's organized for you, and what's organized for you doesn't mean that it's organized for me. So I might have a very, very easy time studying my own notes, but you might have a difficult time studying my notes because you don't understand my organizational system and how that works in my head. But that is why you need to figure out your own system. You just have to try it and test them out, to do your research or just try to figure it out as you go. It's really a process. My note-taking system was really only solid when I was in high school, like later on in high school. So yeah. There's still hope, And if not, if you don't want to take down your own notes, just ask from your classmates. I'm just kidding. Do not do that. Don't do that. Take your own notes. Their notes are probably not complete. Like, who knows? What if I think my notes are very complete and then another person's like, oh, you're missing this and you're missing that. But to me, that's like, oh, that part wasn't really important anyway. So, Okay, I have been rambling on for 12 minutes. So, and yeah, that's it. I never know how to end videos.